Hello guys, how are you doing? How are you holding up? I hope you are keeping people in Texas in your thoughts. Some of them are in for a world of hurt. But first, we're going to talk about this book again. It's COVID-19, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret from Forum Publishing. Alright. They start this section 1.2.3 financial, physical, and monetary policies. And let me tell you something. I don't know anybody who truly wants to be reliant on the government. I don't. Most people I know would rather have a full-time quality job. The dog is doing his job by barking at the cat. Alright, we're just gonna keep going here. He's gonna bark at the cat when she moves. But they encourage governments to go on a spending spree. Crank that printer up and print out that money as fast as you can. That is not a good idea. For the simple reason, it devalues your currency. It brings it down to nothing. It takes a 75-cent can of Coke and makes it $2, okay? That's what I'm talking about here. It would make more sense to not blow up countries that say no to your government. They don't address that one. And take that money and put it back. Also had a stupid hearing of Trump over the January 6th ordeal, and there was no evidence that linked him to telling them to do what they did. But yet, he was put on trial for him to be impeached. There was no evidence, nothing that linked him to it. $24 million down the tubes. Gone. That could have been stimulus for many, many people. But this is how our government runs things. The stupider it is, the quicker they are to do it. This is why I don't think them having the ability to print money is a good idea, because they're stupid. I would also argue that such organizations like Federal Reserve, which is not federal at all, is a huge part of the macro problem. Remember, macro is the whole thing, and micro is a small, independent part. They're part of it. They are the reason this whole thing is happening. So, we have them to deal with. We have these large bankers like Jamie Dimon that are creating the problem. Now, I would say it would make more sense to take the money that has been wasted on military acts that were not necessary and put it into a thing like this. We had spent over $2 trillion since 2001 unnecessarily. Now, if you take that $1 trillion and put it into a trust, so if something happened, like the situation in Texas, FEMA would have access to money that would help everyone equally down there. But no, they don't have it because they pissed it down the drain. we have okay, let's address another thing. China. China has been, they're poked at a lot because they're a communist country. We're supposed to not be. I'd argue that we actually are. People talk about how big their military is. Well, yeah. China hasn't been invading every country from hell to Norway to hell Michigan. They've minded their own business. They've grown their military. They've innovated. They have the reserve money to buy things like soybeans, grains, rice that they're going to need. Because they don't put that money out on useless, stupid wars and useless, stupid impeachment hearings and trials. They end this section by blaming you and me for this problem. Okay, the elites, the big bankers, I'm not talking about your local branch, on Wall Street level bankers, Federal Reserve, and all these people have caused the problem by taking away quality, I'm talking about high quality, full-time employment jobs away from out of America. And they've continued to do so. And now we are in a situation where we can't even meet our basic needs with one job. We have to have about 4 part-time jobs, or you gotta be on state assistance. Which brings me to Walmart, because they are notorious for having their employees on welfare, just so they don't have to pay as much out. This is the kind of thing that makes me sit back and say, what the hell is going on? You got these puppets. They're supposed to be representatives to represent you and me. They don't. Then, now here's something they do not talk about in this book at all. At all. You're not going to find it nowhere in here. Is how people like Klaus Schwab and Thierry Malleret control politicians. You're not going to find that in there. Because they're not going to tell you. We're supposed to think this is our fault. Now, to wrap this up, they want to force people to be dependent on the government. So, as Henry Kissinger said, you control food, you control the people. Now, I would also say, go a little bit further back to Amshire Rothschild. It matters not who makes the policies, as long as I have the money. That was Amshire Rothschild. And needless to say, they still control the money. Which means they control the politicians. They control the bankers. That's something you're not going to find in here. Anyway, kind of went off on a tangent. They're going to keep taking quality jobs. Hell, they're even taking these crappy part-time jobs. At this point, Tony went from getting, how many hours were you getting a couple weeks ago?
We have more people in the department, that's why my hours.
Well, how many hours were you getting?
I don't know, like 15.
15, 16? They added more people, so now all you get is 12.
Yeah.
So you'd rather do this, have more people, pay them less, have less hours, which means they're paid less. Now, for her, that's not a problem. The only responsibility she has is a cat and a dog, and I carry most of that responsibility. But for people who have kids, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So, we are going to stop here. My next section will be on deflation and inflation, which is where I was talking about with this can of soda going from 75 cents with inflation. It will take $2 to buy it. Alright, guys, I hope you will pick this book up from Amazon and give it a read. It's well worth it.